Hello, scientists. Caroline here. Ever walked into a drink aisle in a store and marveled at how many options there are? There's juice, tea, sports drinks, energy drinks, soda, and the list goes on. There's one important ingredient that all these drinks have in common. That's right, water. So what is it about water that makes all these different drink options possible? The answer, or solution, might surprise you. In today's lab, we'll investigate the unique properties of water. Then we'll use what we've learned to make predictions and test them in a lab investigation. Ready, scientists? Let's get into it. Remember, scientists, a solution is a mixture in which the molecules of one substance are evenly distributed within another substance. A common example of a solution is lemonade. One way to make this is by adding a lemonade-flavored powder into water and stirring thoroughly. These two parts, the powder and the water, represent two key parts of a solution. The solvent is the part of the solution that does the dissolving. What do you think the solvent is in our lemonade example? That's right, water. Water is dissolving the powder. That means that the lemonade powder is the solute, or the substance that is being dissolved into the solution. When a substance can be dissolved in water, we refer to that substance as being water-soluble. But how does water dissolve other substances in the first place? The answer lies in water's unique properties. Water is considered a polar molecule, which means it has positive and negative ends, like a magnet. Water is made out of one oxygen atom that has a slightly negative charge and two hydrogen atoms that have a slightly positive charge. Because of this, the positive hydrogens of one water molecule are attracted to the negative oxygen of another water molecule, allowing water molecules to stick to each other. This bond formed between water molecules is called a hydrogen bond, and it's unique to water. Water is also attracted to other polar molecules that have positive and negative ends. Just like a dog or cat might wedge between two people on a couch, water molecules push between other polar molecules and spread them out. This allows the water molecules to act as spacers, breaking down larger solutes and forming a solution. Because of this, substances made of polar molecules dissolve in water, or are water-soluble. On the other hand, substances made out of non-polar molecules do not dissolve in water, meaning they aren't water-soluble. So, scientists, what do you think is the easiest way to tell if a substance is polar or not? That's right, just add water. In today's investigation, we're going to try mixing a variety of substances in water. Based on the results, we'll be able to draw conclusions about the solubility and polarity of these substances, as well as water's role as a solvent. Let's make sure we have everything we need to get started. Before you continue with this video and lab activity, pause here to read over the safety information, materials, and lab procedure in your interactive lab notes with a parent or guardian. Once you have your grown-ups' permission, you can use your own materials at home to follow along with me as we attempt to create some different solutions. If you're unable to complete the lab at home, no problem. You can watch this video and record the data you observe. Let's take a moment to get all of these materials organized and ready. I'm going to put on my safety goggles before we begin. It's very important to put on your goggles before you handle any of the lab materials and leave them on for the entire lab activity. Our first material is a 250 or 500 milliliter glass beaker. I'll be using one that is 250 milliliters, but you can use any beaker, measuring cup, or glass that holds at least 250 milliliters or 1 cup. Next, we'll need water. You may prepare 1 liter of water, or about 4 cups beforehand, or simply make sure there is a sink nearby while performing this investigation. We'll also need a teaspoon for measuring ingredients and a regular spoon for stirring. If a teaspoon is not available, you may use 2 regular spoons instead, one for measuring and one for stirring. You'll also need salt and black pepper. You can use either whole peppercorns or ground black pepper, whichever you have. Next, you'll need sugar. Regular white sugar is best, but any type will work. Finally, you'll need cooking oil. I'll use vegetable oil, but you can use whatever oil you have, like canola oil or olive oil. Before we begin, let's form a hypothesis. We'll be adding 4 substances to water to determine which are water-soluble and which are not. Before we begin, pause and make a prediction. Do you think each material will dissolve and form a solution with water? Record your hypothesis for each substance in your interactive lab notes. Now that we have all of our materials and our hypothesis, we can begin our investigation. This investigation will be divided into 4 trials. I'll be using my lab equipment, but keep an eye out for alternative lab materials you can use as you follow along. For the first trial, we'll be adding salt to water to see if we can make a solution. The first step in our procedure is to measure 250 milliliters of water in a beaker or 1 cup of water in a liquid measuring cup. Next, we'll measure 1 teaspoon or about half a spoonful of salt and add it to the beaker of water. We'll then use a clean spoon to stir the water thoroughly for 15 seconds. Now it's time to make some observations. Observe the water in the beaker. Did the salt dissolve? When something dissolves, it means that the solid, in this case salt, breaks down into particles so tiny that they're no longer visible and they mix completely with the liquid, in this case the water. Pause and record your observations in your interactive lab notes. Looking at my results, I can see that all of the salt dissolved into the water. If yours did not completely dissolve, try stirring for 15 more seconds. Once you've recorded your observations, carefully empty the contents of the beaker or measuring cup into a sink and briefly rinse it out. Rinse your stirring utensil as well. And with that, we've completed the first trial. We're now going to repeat this process for our remaining 3 ingredients. For the second trial, we'll be adding pepper to water. Add 250 milliliters or 1 cup of water to your beaker or measuring cup. Then measure and add 1 teaspoon of black pepper to the water and stir thoroughly for 15 seconds. Observe the water in the beaker. Did all of the pepper dissolve? Pause and record your observations in your interactive lab notes. Make sure to carefully empty the contents of the beaker into the sink and rinse the beaker and your stirring utensil before beginning the next trial. In trial 3, we'll be adding sugar to the water. Add 250 milliliters or 1 cup of water to your beaker or measuring cup. Then measure and add 1 teaspoon of sugar to the water and stir thoroughly for 15 seconds. Observe the water in the beaker. Did all of the sugar dissolve? Pause and record your observations in your interactive lab notes. Before beginning the next trial, make sure to carefully empty the contents of the beaker into a sink and rinse the beaker and your stirring utensil. In the final trial, we'll be adding cooking oil to the water. One final time, add 250 milliliters or 1 cup of water to your beaker or measuring cup. Then measure and add 1 teaspoon of cooking oil to the water and stir thoroughly for 15 seconds. Observe the water in the beaker. Did all of the oil dissolve? Make sure to pay close attention to the surface of the water in your beaker. Pause and record your observations in your interactive lab notes. All right, scientists, now that we've collected our data from 4 separate trials, it's time to analyze our findings. Analyzing data to draw conclusions is an important part of the scientific method. At the beginning of each trial, you made a hypothesis about whether each substance would dissolve in water. Look back at your predictions now. Let's start with trial 1, salt. Was your hypothesis supported? Based on your observations, does salt form a solution with water? Pause the video and record your thoughts in your interactive lab notes. We observed that the salt dissolved completely into the water. In other words, it is water-soluble. This also means that salt forms a solution with water. But these aren't the only conclusions we can draw from this investigation. Let's take it a step further. Based on your observations, can you conclude that salt is a polar molecule or a non-polar molecule? Pause the video again and record your thoughts in your interactive lab notes. If you're having trouble, look back at your notes from the beginning of the video and ask yourself, what type of molecule is water good at dissolving? Water is good at dissolving polar molecules, and since salt is soluble in water, we can conclude that salt is a polar molecule. If you need to modify your conclusion, feel free to pause the video and make adjustments. All right, scientists. Now, let's analyze the results from our second trial, pepper. Was your hypothesis supported? Based on your observations, does pepper form a solution with water? Pause the video and record your thoughts in your interactive lab notes. We were able to observe that pepper is not soluble in water, so it does not form a solution. Based on your observations, can you conclude that pepper is a polar or a non-polar molecule? Pause the video again and record your thoughts in your interactive lab notes. Since the pepper did not dissolve in water and water cannot dissolve non-polar molecules, we can conclude that pepper is a non-polar molecule. If you need to modify your conclusion, feel free to pause the video and make adjustments. Okay, scientists, now it's your turn to analyze the results from trials 3 and 4. Remember, if you get stuck, you can use the first 2 trials as guides to help you out. You'll also find a few more follow-up questions in your interactive lab notes, so keep an eye out for those as well. I had a great time investigating solutions with you. I'm Caroline, and remember, life is full of wonders, so keep learning and don't ever stop wondering.
Hey, hey.